In business history, certain stories are retold not because they are loud, but because they are quietly clever. The founding of Red Bull belongs precisely to that category. No dramatic overnight success was witnessed. No sudden stroke of genius was announced. Instead, a sequence of small observations was made, and those observations were handled with remarkable restraint. The journey, rather than unexpectedly, was begun far away from Austria. In the early 1980s, Dietrich Mateschitz was employed as a marketing executive for a German consumer goods company. Long flights, tight schedules, and a persistent jet lag were simply accepted as part of their profession. During one business trip to Thailand, relief was found in an unamusing local drink. It was sold in small shops, consumed by workers, and entirely lacking glamour. The drink was called Krating Dang. After consumption, fatigue appeared to fade. Focus returned. Jet lag loosened its grip. What was routine for locals became noteworthy to someone trained to recognize patterns in human behavior. No revelation was announced aloud, yet a quiet realization had clearly taken shape. Something valuable had been discovered. Krating Dang had been created years earlier by Kalo Yuvida, a Thai entrepreneur who designed the drink for people who needed energy to get through long working days. It was not designed to impress, it was designed to work. The brilliance of what followed was not found in invention, but in interpretation. A partnership was proposed, and in 1984, Red Bull GmbH was founded in Austria. Ownership was carefully divided: 49% for Mateschitz, 49% for Juvida, and 2% for Juvida's son. Balance was established from the beginning. Even so, progress was anything but smooth. The original formula proved unsuitable for Western tastes. Adjustments were made. Carbonation was added. The flavor was refined. The packaging was transformed into a slim, modern can, something that looked more like a lifestyle accessory than a medical tonic. Approval was not granted easily. In several European countries, Red Bull was delayed or rejected due to the concerns of over-ingredients. Less ambitions might have been abandoned at that point. Instead, patience was exercised. Time was allowed to do its work. When Red Bull finally entered the Austrian market in 1987, little noise was made. Traditional advertising was largely avoided. Now loud promises were issued. A far subtler approach was chosen. Rather than being sold aggressively, Red Bull was quietly placed. Recans appeared at universities, nightclubs, gyms, and events where long nights and high energy were already common. The drink was seen in the hands of those who stayed awake when others grew tired. Curiosity followed naturally. Conversations were started without a single commercial being aired. The brand was not positioned as necessary, it was positioned as selective. Red Bull gives you wings was introduced not as a literal claim, but as a suggestion, an idea that something extra might be unlocked. The drink became associated with people who pushed limits, ignored convention, and chased intensity rather than comfort. Expansion followed the same philosophy, slowly, carefully, one country at a time. Each culture was studied, each market was entered deliberately. By the mid-1990s, Europe had been conquered. Soon after, America followed. Then came the most unusual decision of all. Red Bull did not simply sponsor sports. Sports were created. Events that had once lived on the fringes were elevated. Cliff diving, air racing, freestyle motocross. Athletes were supported as individuals, not billboards. Stories were told. Content was produced. Long before content marketing became fashionable, Red Bull had already mastered it. In time, the company evolved into a media empire that happened to sell an energy drink. The philosophy reached its peak in 2012, when Felix Baumgartner stepped out of a capsule at the edge of space. Millions watched as he fell back to Earth under the Red Bull banner. No traditional advertisement could have achieved such resonance. Human courage had been allowed to speak for the brand. Throughout it all, Dietrich Mateschitz remained mostly unseen. Interviews were rare. Public attention was deflected. The spotlight was kept firmly on the brand itself. Control was maintained through precision, not publicity. From a modest Thai energy drink to a global symbol of ambition, Red Bull was not built in a rush. It was shaped patiently, guided by observation and an understanding of what motivates people at their core. A lesson, perhaps, in how quiet decisions often produce the loudest results.